And welcome everyone to another exciting adventure of Riding Through the Unknown. I'm your host, Michael, and I just want to say to everyone that's watching this tonight, thank you for joining us on a special evening for a special episode. And my guest tonight is a rather unique guest because we have done panels together and we have done other type of shows together, but this is her first time actually being on my show in the guest seat. And so I am so honored and blessed. And I want to say before we get started, thank you for your service and thank you for your sacrifice. My father was in the Navy, so this truly does come from my heart, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's hard to take a thank you, you know? I don't know.
It is, and that's why I like to say where mine is coming from, because it's like a lot of people will just walk up and be, in my opinion, going like, "Thank you," and I don't think they really understand what the thank you is meant to say. But when you have family members that served, it's like that. It's like the other person on the other end is like, oh yeah, I've heard that, several times today. Okay, yeah. But when you hear, oh my, someone served, so I understand. Thank you. It's like, oh, this is a real, and I'm not saying it's the others aren't, but there's a different level to it because there's a deeper understanding behind it. I
Yeah. Yeah, your family, you and your family have been personally affected by that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we kind of got a little bit off topic with that, but hey, it's the fun of live shows. But with that being said, I am going to hand off to my guest to introduce herself. So I give you the one, the only experiencer, comedian, all kinds of hats extraordinaire, Tiffany. Call sign Seraphim. Wait, when did you add 13?
13? That's my YouTube.
Oh, I never realized there was a 13 on it.
I think so. I think I had to make it like that to make it unique. I don't know. It was something to do with my YouTube account. But yeah.
Oh,
And it's the day I was born, so,
well, can't fault you for that one.
yeah. Yeah. But hey guys, I'm an SSP MyLab Montauk alumni, and I'm also an Army veteran, and I love to joke around. I had Michael laughing in in the backstage, and I don't know, I'm psychic. I have clairsentience. I can it's claregustenance, where you can taste, smell, hear, and I just know things. Like, I'll ask a question and then, like, I'll know the answer right away, and I'm like, oh wow, that's it right there. And yeah, I communicate with people's loved ones that have passed away, people's animals that have passed away. I telepath with the horses at my husband's work, you know, army horses, and pretty much anything I can. Sharks at aquariums, dolphins, pretty much anything. So it's pretty cool. And I talk to plants, pretty much anything that has consciousness.
And in case you're wondering, she also does gaming, dowsing rods, and lived in haunted houses.
My whole life, including this one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when we bought the house, we were like, "Oh, this is nice. It's not haunted." But yeah, I find the dishes putting themselves away sometimes, Like getting them, making themselves comfortable. Hi, Wizard Wickus.
Man, why can't we ever find a ghost that does dishes?
I know. Well, my adopted mom in Germany, she said that in her mom's old house in Arizona, that there was a ghost that would clean the house when they were gone. And I was like, "Where can we meet?" Like,
Well,
since
hold
you
on,
guys are
hold on.
moving out, can I have them?
Are we talking clean the house as in all
Like
their stuff is
dishes?
outside of the house and the house is all nice and clean with them moved out, or they like
No.
dust and leave everything in the house?
Yeah, dust, vacuum, like the dishes, and I was like, "I don't believe it," but she doesn't lie, so I was like, "Okay, that blows my mind."
That's cool because the reason I asked for that clarification is before I was born, my parents lived in a house in Brockton, New York, and probably several listeners, if they're in the New York area, know this house because it's near that spiritual center town. But this house, my parents would tell me, was haunted, and you could only have this house for 6 months.
Ooh.
And on the day of the sixth month, their stuff was all piled on the front porch, the door locked, and they had the only key to the house. And so they were like telling me like these I grew up with these stories of their experiences living in this haunted house, and the fact that yeah, when it was time to move out, their stuff was packed up, put on the front porch, and the house was completely locked up.
Oh my
And they
god.
can't explain how their stuff was put outside.
Wow. And the owners didn't know anything? They didn't say anything?
Oh, they would say to everybody going, anybody that moved in, they just said, "Here's all the keys. We are not taking a key,
Okay.
and this house is haunted." So, and the way they said it was haunted is, I believe my mom said he would hand the key and say, "We can only rent this place for 6 months, so we'll see you in 6 months."
Wow.
And it literally was
6
six
months to
months.
the day. That's crazy. And you were a baby at this time?
Oh, I wasn't even around at this time. I wasn't even a concept. This
Oh,
was
okay.
early 70s. I came at the end, but I heard all the stories, and they would talk about having they could hear the footprints going up the stairs, or they would hear the TV being turned on. They enjoyed television.
Mm,
Rags would appear in the freezer that were hanging on the oven door,
wow.
and they started, making jokes about it and dealing with everything. And my favorite story was my mom, my dad, being just married, and I think my eldest sister might have been born at this time, but I'm not sure if she actually was in this house. But they had family over, and so her sister and brother were there and their families that were married at the time. And so they're all, and the guys are trying to tease the ladies, having that fun that they always do. Well, they go to sleep, and the electricity goes out. They can't find a panel to flip the switch. All the panels they find does not restore the electricity, and it's a stormy night. I know. You can't write this stuff up.
Terrifying.
All of a suddenly, the next morning, they hear this bang, and this cabinet, I think it was like a cabinet, kind of like bookcase that was attached to the wall,
Okay.
had popped loose, and behind it was the fuse box.
Okay.
So they were like, "You survived the night. Now we're going to tell you where the fuse box is." And but my mom would tell me every night they would know where the ghosts were because they would hear them come up the steps, walk the hallway, and in the attic was a trunk that had letters from this sea captain. And I
Oh,
was like, "Did you keep those?" And she's like, "No, we left them at the house." I was like, "Why?" That would have been so cool to
that
read,
would have been
who
so
was
cool.
there. But yeah, and so the next part of the story though that's interesting with this is my dad would go to work and he would open the door, close the door would open and close behind him, and so his secretary would go, "Your friend is with you." They
Uh-huh.
all knew that about this spirit being there, and so it was like it's funny. So when you said, "Oh, I grew up in a haunted house," I was like, "Oh yeah, we can trade stories about that because I
I
wasn't in them, but I heard all the stories, and so it's like I can imagine what it was like."
That is so cool. Yeah, we had some asshole ghosts in this house I lived in when I was in kindergarten and first grade. And yes, definitely. They would chase me. They would like scare me, and they would chase me around the house. And then I didn't feel safe anywhere in the house except for the downstairs hallway bathroom. So I would like go in there, and I wouldn't even lock the door because I would just close the door, and I would like rest on it. And I was like, trying to catch my breath. And then they would like bang on the door, right, and scare me. And then I would be like, okay, that's terrifying. So I'd be screaming, right? And then I would be like trying to jiggle the door, like I would try to get out, and they would lock the door, and I would be like, Grandma, Grandma, help me. Grandma, I'm locked in. And it was the weirdest thing because um she wouldn't be able to open the door until they were done being assholes to me. And then they would get me in trouble because my mom had a big, tall, tall plant, right? Like it was big. It had a big pot. Well, every day you would see like someone like just took soil out and scooped it into the tub and just spread it. And I would get in trouble for it. And I was like, Grandma, why would I do that? She was like, I don't know. Why do you do that? And I was like, it's not me. They were such assholes.
So
But
she never believed that there were ghosts that were messing with you.
she didn't believe me until one night that things got really scary. It was a bad poltergeist. My mom had a friend over and they were drinking wine and just chilling. And my mom's friend went to pour some wine, and the wine got splashed in her face. And my grandma was like, "What the fuck?" And that night, like my grandma was like super religious, always with a rosary, super Catholic old lady, right? And I heard like on my headboard like that, and I was like, oh hell no, because like all I could picture was like some like creepy old hag with like long claws, and I was like, oh my god. And I was like, oh my god, no. And things got really bad that night. Like the cabinets were slamming shut and everything. The table was like levitating and dropping on the ground, and my mom got so scared. We all got so scared. I woke up screaming like for someone to come get me from my room because I was like frozen in a panic. We ended up moving out that night.
Are you sure you weren't living in Amityville? Because it sounds just like that house almost.
Right? Yeah. Apparently the house was built on a old cemetery. So yeah, it was yes, it was terrifying. I was so scared. It scared me so bad that to this day, as an adult woman, if I'm back in Imperial Beach, where I grew up, where I was born and raised, I do not drive past that road. I will detour around and avoid that entire perimeter. It's so scary.
I,
Yeah,
I'm just like picturing you thinking driving around it makes you safe from it. That they're going, oh wait, she's not coming down the street. Back off, everybody. We're not messing with
Save
her
the
now.
tricks for later.
She didn't go out on the street, so we can't touch her now.
Exactly. Yeah, I felt like, like as long as you don't like come in contact, like make eye contact with the building, you're good. But yeah, and then this other time when I was living where we got stationed in Germany, and I could see, I can see stuff, and I also hear people's thoughts, right? When we're like in close proximity. What's it called? This I could see people that died from the plague. I could see uh, old Germans, like well, old souls, like young, like all different ages, in lederhosens, the little boys and men and everything. And I was like, what the hell? That's so crazy. And I remember my husband would say, I don't remember where I was. Oh, I was away on TDY. I was away doing some work at another base, right? It was like down by Munich, so like 4 hours away. And he had told me, he's like, babe, the girls were sleeping, and I was downstairs watching a movie, and I heard a basketball bouncing upstairs in the hallway. And so I went upstairs and I was like, girls, yeah, maybe. And he was like, girls, didn't I say go to sleep? He was talking to himself. All the girls were sleeping, and the basketball was next to the dollhouse. And it was the weirdest thing. And he always, it's so funny because he's super scared of ghosts, even though he's like, I don't believe in them, but he will be scared. It's so funny. And what's it called? I remember cleaning the house. We were cleaning the windows, right? Because in Germany you can fold your like bring your windows inward. And so
Right?
like I was cleaning the window and everything, from the pollen and everything. On the inner side of, because I was cleaning the outside, the surface that faces outside, and it was folded towards the inside of the house. On the other side of the window, I saw this little blonde boy, platinum blonde, beautiful blue eye, uh, little boy. He was like maybe 5 years old, and he asked me where his father is, and I said, your father's not here, and you shouldn't be here either. Like, you should go to the light, go to source. He got me off guard so bad. Like, I love a good jump scare, right? And like, it just gets me excited, but scared at the same time. So I'm like, okay, all right. But he got me so good that I jumped and I was like, oh, he's not here. You shouldn't be either. And it scared the shit out of me that night I asked the girls, I was like, do you guys want to have a sleepover? Have us all sleep in the same
Sacrifices. That's what that's really about.
room? Yeah. And then I felt bad because the entire time that we lived there, my middle daughter, she's now 22. She never, not one night did she sleep in her room. She tried the entire time that we lived there, almost 5 years, and she said there was something in like that terrified her. Like, and you could go into her room and you could feel it, and it was like scary as fuck. And I was like, don't feed into it. Just go stay with Lizzie because they were super close.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's wild.
Yeah. Terry asked earlier if you saw any Nazi ghosts.
Well, funny you mentioned that. Yeah, I could feel their energy, and I could see them through my third eye. We had me and my army buddies were driving around the base on the opposite side of where they do the tank trail training, like for like war games and stuff. Well, we were just shooting the shit, and we're like, let's see. Like, there's a pillbox over there from World War II, like the old concrete one, with the thick
Yeah.
walls. So we went, and I was like, oh my god, this is historic. This is so cool. And you could feel them, and they were like, what do we do? What do we do? Like, that was the energy. And I was like, bro, you're gone. Like, go. Like, time to go. Like, we're here. Like, me with the American flag. We're here. This is ours now.
We captured it again.
Yeah. Capture the flag. Yeah.
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 James
Yeah.
is saying the light at the end of the tunnel is just a big bug zapper that recycles you back.
It's the end of the tunnel is the hospital light above your mom as she's giving birth to you, coming into the next life.
Oh yeah, it's that moment your eyes open and you're like, "Oh great, I'm going
Fuck,
through it again." All right.
amnesia, damn it.
So yeah, I've often wondered if it's the tools that are used in birth, because like I've seen the forceps that they use to like
Mhm.
grab and help, and I'm like, I'm kind of wondering if that kind of trauma of seeing that comes in like is like memory erase right there. Like,
Right?
crap, there's these two metal things coming in to get my head. How did I get here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Besides the fact that your cranium's being crushed.
Yeah,
Terry, you too? My daughter's ex-boyfriend in high school, they were both seniors. He said he remembers being born. He remembers coming out and being wrapped and cleaned up and given to his mom.
I'm just gonna say this with all the kindness in my heart. Why the hell are you talking to somebody who's not even family about remembering being born?
Well, we were talking about like, do you remember what's your earliest memory as a child? And he said, well, being born. And we're like, what? That's crazy. See, Terry remembers.
Yeah. Somebody is giving us penguin blue waving tear, popcorn yellow striped smile.
Nice. Okay. Oh, maybe they're using voice commands. I don't know.
I think they're mixing regular emoticons with the
With the
YouTube
YouTube.
emoticons.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny. It's I'll see every once in a while. It's like, what is? Oh yeah, that really is an emoticon. It's just giving me the code for it. Okay,
Nice. Nice.
so we're talking, as we're talking about, like ghosts and spirits and everything. Do you feel like the ability that you have for this is what tapped you for the programs and got you like a top tier position in the programs?
I think it definitely helped because I've noticed that all of us in the programs have some type of psychic ability. Like it's not just one thing. Like us in the programs we have like two or three, or you have Doctor Strange, Sean Bond, who's fucking mind blowing with his psychic abilities and psionics, you know? So yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah.
No, I kind of agree. There is a certain element of that. And I just want to take a moment, though, before we really get in the SSP, because there is one thing about your bio that I kind of feel like is a little humorous, being that you are SSP and everything. And that is your role in the army was the food health inspector.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, okay, straight up. Growing up, my mom, God bless her soul, she kept us alive as best as she could, right? But she sucked at cooking. And she would make like chicken soup or like whatever, like anything with protein. And I'd be like, "Mom, like I was like 13 years old or 12. I think I learned how to make eggs when I was 7 because we had to start fending for ourselves, you know? She sucked at cooking. She's great at pastries, the best. You want ensenada style fish tacos, like beer battered fish tacos, the best. But like regular food, scrambled eggs, over easy eggs, chicken soup. It's no, no. It's like having a teenage boy who's never stepped into the kitchen go in there, right?
Hey,
And
hey,
she was,
hey, hey. Who is
hey,
this teenage boy?
I'm
I
just
have
saying.
met plenty of teenage women who, God help them if they ever got a hold of another dish.
Well, yeah, I'm telling you, like my mom, dude, she sucks so bad that I would be like, Mom, like you left the food out last night. Like, what are we gonna like have? Like, there's nothing else. All we have is ingredients in the fridge or pantry. And she would say, "Oh, just boil it. Just boil it for 5 minutes." Pardon me. So I grew up grossed out, so disgusted, and I would like legit. I would be like, I'm gonna go ride my bike to my aunt's house, or I'm gonna go ride my bike to my grandma's house, and she'd be like, okay. And I wouldn't eat at home. I tried not eating there unless my grandma or someone was over making food, and I hated it. I avoided it like the plague. It was so disgusting. So when they were like, "There's this job. Like, what do you want? What jobs do you want? There's this job. We're promoting it. It's a little known job. It's like a small unit, and you can be stationed anywhere in the world." And I was like, oh shit, like Japan, Guam, Australia, anywhere, Antarctica. And so I was like, I want to be a health inspector. Yeah, that job, that's exactly what I want, because fuck what I went through when I was younger, right? I was like, yes, I'm gonna lay the law down. So yeah, I shut down restaurants for a living on base, and it was glorious because my experiences walking through these restaurants it was like, have you seen Chef Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares?
Yeah,
That's how disgusting the food was in particular, two restaurants who were managed by the same general manager, and they were disgusting. They were serving up rancid shrimp, rancid meat. They weren't labeling. They were reusing their breading that they used on chicken for shrimp, and you can't use that. You can't do that. And they would save it, and they would save it, put it in the fridge, their walk-in fridge, and not even cover it. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I couldn't even. I was an NCO, right? I was a non-commissioned officer. I was E5 when I went in there. So I was like, what the? I didn't even care about manners at this point because I'm like, no fucking way. No. And so I said, this is completely like in food code, FDA food code violation. And I wrote up, I knew they violated so many food code violations that I had these regulations like by memory. I was like, this, like five off the bat. And it was disgusting. Their floors, gross. They had people without hair nets or anything, just going like that and just doing things. And I was like, no, 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 time out, stop, step away from there, put the knives down. You got to go wash your hands, go net up, like go. And this one girl, I used to see her at the gym all the time, and she knew who I was because I'm the big bully. I'm the Baba Yaga of like the health inspectors, right? So like when I went in to do my inspection the last time, she went like this to me, like and I was like, she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I was like, anyway. So I was like, if I could, I would, right? Use my Jedi mind powers. But apparently they complained that Sergeant Rumping was too mean, and I was only holding the standard.
yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, it was disgusting. But the one restaurant that I shut down like 3, 4 times became a library on base afterwards.
Wait, wait, wait. It got shut down 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, by me.
How are they allowed to reopen?
It was me and preventive med who I would relay the my findings and reports and pictures and everything. So, but then we would come in as a team and do the walk in together. And I'd be like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. You see that? Blah, blah, blah. And they'd be like, yep, close it down.
Yeah, but that's what I'm asking is like, how in the world, if they were shut down once, did they get to reopen 3 more times
That's what I'm
to
saying.
get shut down? It's like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no
Especially
idea.
if it's the same person. It's like, I could get the first time, maybe, inexperienced, we'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
Second time, yeah, you should know better, but especially if it's the exact same thing. But third and fourth, that's like shame on whoever is hiring these people and
Mm-hmm.
placing, because, yeah, this person's already failed twice.
Yeah, yeah. They had moldy produce and they were cutting the mold off and then chopping the rest, even though it was like soft and mushy and gross, and putting it on the salad bar. I was like, no, that's not, no, no. Just close the restaurant. We're not doing this. Yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
I get an adrenaline rush when I watch Kitchen Nightmares because it's like reliving those adventures.
yeah. I'll be honest, I have done that with cheese. If it's a block of cheese, I'll cut the little spot off. And I'm like, okay, we'll just finish this block in a day or two. But I'm like, yeah, and I haven't gotten sick from it, but I'm not talking like, I'm talking like a little spot, like it's just
Yeah.
starting. So
Yep.
just nick it off, and it's like, yeah, this part's still good.
Yep. Yeah.
But when it hits a certain point, though, I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, this one's got to go.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
one's beyond saving. But you would have hated my kitchen, because, like, in the refrigerator, I had ketchup that was like 2 years over,
I remember
and
you told
I would be like mixing it with other sauces and making a different sauce, and it was like,
me.
and she's like, "How are you using this?" And I would literally squeeze it on my finger, go like this, and it go,
Ugh,
"Tastes like ketchup." And I'm like, "It's ketchup."
still
And
good.
so, but here's where my reasoning came from. Her dad grew up on a farm, and he would always say, "You don't trust the dates on the products, because when we lived on the farm, we didn't have dates on products, and as long as it tasted like what it's supposed to, it was still good." And that's the mantra I lived by. And I didn't even know that's where I had gotten it until she told me that years later. And she's like, by the way, this was your grandfather's deal. And I was like, that was the wisest man I've ever known. Because,
Yes.
well, that, and I would watch like Food Network, and they did a show where the top chefs were going in the dumpsters, getting meat, getting product from restaurant dumpsters, cooking up this food. And, they were saying it was like a day or two or three over the date, but they would cook it up and serve it to these judges. And these judges were like, yeah, this is the type of food I would expect from this restaurant that you have. And they go, well, you'll be happy to know all of this food came from the dumpster. And they're like, what?
What
Why
season
is
was that?
that? Huh?
What season was that?
Oh, I don't remember. It was like probably 5, 6 years ago I saw it. I think Bobby Flay was involved with it,
I'm gonna have to see it. You know, my
but
cousin's a top chef.
it wasn't a series. It was like a special thing that they did, because I
Oh,
think they
okay.
were trying to raise awareness to people will throw away perfectly good food
Mhm.
because of the date.
Mm,
And
mm,
it's like, it's not, or because it was out on a platter to be ready to be served, but it never got picked. So they were like, well, by the FDA, we have to throw it away.
mhm,
And they're like,
mhm.
we could give this to a food shelter,
Oh, yeah.
or we could, donate this, but we're throwing it away. And you had this great meal from food thrown away. And
Mhm.
they're like, yeah, we need to and so I was like, yeah, even some chefs are like, the rules are unreal and unreasonable, I think,
Yeah.
safety wise. But then again, they weren't taking, like, you pointed out, like, straight, like, breadcrumbs that came off of a shrimp and going, oh, we can bread this chicken with it. It's like, no, they weren't doing that.
Yeah, logical stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I mean, they would find like steaks that were like prime looking. They were red, and it was like, man, I was looking at that going, I would grill that sucker up in a heartbeat. And
Yeah.
they're like, and this came from the dumpster? They're like, yeah. Well, why? Well, because it was out on the counter waiting for someone to order it, but they didn't. And the rule is you have to throw it away.
Yep.
And they're like,
Which
but there's no
blows my
reason
mind.
to.
There really is no reason to, because my daughter's boyfriend's mom runs a food pantry in DC, and she will go and pick up food from like restaurants and from like Trader Joe's and everything, like, and she puts it in her food pantry, and it like there are like there restaurants do have the ability to donate their food, but because they don't want to, they throw it away.
Yeah, there's that too, but well, some of it though I think is because there's like a date on it. Like my mom and I, we would clean out our pantry and donate to like the post office doing their thing or to other locations, and she would go through and say, well, this food is close, but it's still within the date, so we can donate it. But if it was over the date, she's like, we can't donate it, they're
Yeah.
gonna throw it away. And I was like, you're gonna be throwing it away. So what difference does it make which one of us throws it away?
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like it is funny that people will sit there and be like, the dates are, but then it's like people don't realize you got to read actually what's written on the date, because
Mhm.
it'll say like sell by. Well, that doesn't mean
Yes,
the food is no good after that day. That's
exactly.
just a reference point for them to sell it
Sell it by
in
that.
a
Yep.
store, or its best buy date. They're like, it's not saying it's expired and no good after this date. It's just a,
Mhm.
hey, heads up, the freshness factor is starting to take a hit now. And
Yep.
so that's where I'm like, the only
Yeah.
time I ever really truly focus on a date is when it goes expire date. It's expires on this date, and like I had milk one day, and it was, I hadn't even gotten to the date yet, but I opened it up and I was like, something smelled a little off, but I was like, oh, somebody probably cooked something, because the date, is like 3 or 4 days away. Milk is good. It's always good
Mm.
until the date, at least. I spit that milk out because it had turned, and
Oh.
dumped it, and I was like, yeah, it took me a while before I was back
Oh,
on milk.
no. That's horrible. It was probably temperature abuse too, because then you have like food that like needs to be cold, that's not like shelf stable. And if we take too long to get home and we don't keep it in those cool bags, that shortens the lifespan too. So if that's happened to us when we forget our like the cooler bags, and so I'll tell Brett, I'm like, oh, we gotta finish this whatever it is, like milk or whatever, because we don't really drink milk. Axel, I don't let him eat cereal because of all the like bullshit they put in it. So like if we have milk, it's for like creams and making stuff. So yeah, like if we see that it's been temperature abused by us, we're like, oof, like we got to cut it short. But that's why stuff goes bad early before the best by date or expiration date too.
Well, and we had the fun of, we would try like having groceries delivered, especially when you couldn't go to the stores.
COVID.
And the ice creams would be arriving, and it's like you would grab them, and it would be like,
Oh,
one time it popped out and went over, and we were like, And my mom threw it away, and I was like, "Why did you throw that away?" She goes, "It's no good." I was like, "Why?" She goes, "It was soup." I go, "Yeah, that's the best way to eat ice cream." That's what I do is I put it in a bowl and I stir it around until it becomes almost like a soup. And I'm like, you add the chocolate sauce to it. And I'm like, boom.
You're like, it's perfect.
I was like, I would have died and went to heaven for
That's
that
how I
moment
like
right there.
it.
I didn't have to work for it because it's like you get some of them and you're like, by the time I actually am going to be able to eat this, I'm not going to want it anymore.
That's funny because that's how my son likes his ice cream too. He puts it in a bowl and he waits for it to melt, and I'm like, he'll eat the like the hard like chocolate on it, but yeah,
Yeah.
he'll wait for it to melt and then he'll just yeah, interesting.
Hey,
Hmm.
kids
Yeah.
got style. What can I say?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's really cool.
how did you learn having the telepathic communication with animals? I kind of get the humans because we kind of pick up on cues and we could say, yeah, that's telepathy, knowing what's what. But animals, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. Um with animals, I can hear them. I can hear them say hi, and they each have a different tone and they all have different color like aura and everything, but like when I talk to the horses at Brett's work, they're army horses. They're good boys. I always go in there and tell them, "Hey, big boy, how are you?" I call them by their names, of course. It's really nice because they're all named after Medal of Honor recipients, and so it's pretty cool. And then Sergeant Major Daly of the Army has his own horse too, and he's my favorite. But when I
Audie. Is it Audie?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, like they have really cool names. And when I approach them, like I'll talk to them and like I just hear them talk like I'm happy you're here. Like I haven't seen you. Where have you been? And I'm like, "Oh, buddy." But I don't use my voice. We talk just with our thoughts and everything, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't work here, so I come here every now and then." But it's really cool.
Hmm. It's kind of funny to hear the army with horses because I don't know the last time I've seen a mounted army troop deployment of
Cavalry.
being on horseback.
Yeah, they have a couple army horsemen units. I think there's one in Oklahoma, one in Fort Hood, very small. I don't know how many horses they have, but they're very small. And then they have the military honor funerals here in Fort Sam, San Antonio, where my husband is in charge of them, and they have the Arlington National Cemetery military funeral honors over there. Caisson, yeah. And but the horses for the military funeral honors, they pull the wagon. They're strapped and they pull the wagon and they take the casket with draped flag to the final resting place. My husband's boys, they actually did President Carter's funeral.
Oh. Oh yeah, I
Mhm.
remember you sent me photos of that.
Oh, that was the president inauguration one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. It's pretty cool. It's fun. It's
It
cool.
is.
But
And
yeah, with animals, like I go to SeaWorld. We went to SeaWorld this weekend. Like you pass by the stingrays, if they catch your attention, some of them are conscious, some of them say hi. It's
I know they're all conscious. It's
mhm.
just speaking their language is where it gets tricky, and it's like I'm just picturing like walking by and hearing, "Hey, can you put in for me to get a bigger tank? Because kind of feeling a little cramped in here."
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
The
especially the
fact I can
dolphins
see
now.
my tail before I even see my back tells me something's wrong here.
For real, yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I call it It's like in Harry Potter, remember the first one where he goes to the, I think it was the zoo with what's his shitty name, the little, his cousin, and his
Oh,
cousin, the Harry sees the big snake and he's like, "Oh, hey, do you have family?" And then he saw like raised it like bred and raised in the like in there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," but like they were talking telepathically too. So when I talk to sharks at the aquarium, I call it sharkle tongue instead of snarkle tongue.
hanging out with you would give a whole new meaning to Shark Week.
All right.
You'll be like, "Oh yeah, you've been annoying me today." Yeah, they want you to pet them.
Yeah.
Really, make sure you really get in there and pet them good.
Put your elbow in.
You know, feel free to go. Get your whole up to your shoulder in there for. Make sure you give them a good belly rub.
Right. Did you know
Uh
sharks, when you flip them upside down on their belly, they fall asleep?
huh.
I love that.
Yeah,
But to
but
get them to fall asleep,
I know
do
it's
that,
when they're
right?
charging you to eat. They're not gonna sit there and go, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on, you're right. Let me roll for you," and you're like, "We're good."
Yeah. You've never telepathed with an animal? I think you should. I think you should make that a challenge this week.
Actually, I have with
Mm,
dogs. I've been able to do it with dogs and wolves, but
that's awesome.
I haven't really, tried with birds. I have tried with squirrels, but they seem to understand, but then they go and do whatever anyway. So I'm like, yeah,
Mm, yep.
probably not. probably, probably don't. But insects, I've tried communicating with them. But
She's telepathed with mantids before.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I had a long conversation with some mantists because I had operational knowledge of an event, and I was like, oh, I need to go, I think, make personal reparations for something that I did in the programs. And I showed up, and before I could even say a word, they just looked at me and they just shook their head. And I was like, what? And they go, and it's like, all of a sudden, I was like, oh, cool. I don't even have to talk about it. I was like, everything was forgiven the second I showed up.
That's awesome. I love that.
And so I was like, cool. So don't have to worry about that. But
Yeah.
the, I'm curious, a little bit of did this, telepathic communication with the animals and, sensing people's intentions, do you feel like that was soul born, like starseed hybrid born, or a side effect of the programs?
Mm, I think I was born with it because I could always sense who was dangerous to me as a child. And it blew my mind that the person who was in charge of me, my mom, never, either she didn't notice it or she didn't care, or no other adults noticed. Like, how the fuck do you not see this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always I've always told people like this, I don't like this person because XYZ. And then they're the person that people like the most, and they're like, "No, they're so cool. They're easygoing." No, they're not like that. And then lo and behold, like it comes out like, and then I'm like, I fucking told you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
like Brett's biological mom, she hated me from day one. I never had a chance at all. And I was always getting shit from her. And I would tell Brett, like, I'm trying, but she doesn't like me and her mind's made up. And then it took her losing her shit and causing a scene to the whole family like a couple years ago and telling my husband it's either me or her, and he was like, okay, bye. And for everybody to see what I was
Wait,
talking about.
for clarification, who did he say bye to?
To his mom.
Because people watching this may be like going, so is that why she's always on screen by herself?
No, it's because he's like he knows like I'll brief him on stuff. I'll tell him like, "Oh, do you want to hear about it?" And he's like, "Of course." Like he's super like he'll listen, and he'll like if I have a podcast on, if I'm listening to you or Rob or Julia, anybody or Sean, he's like, "What was the subject today?" "Oh, that's cool." And blah blah, and he has his own opinions, but he's doing the dad thing. He one of us got to take care of Axel, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, just so you are aware, when I was able to invite more people than normally to this show,
Hmm.
so every single person I know that's in the programs that has been on my show got an invitation tonight to watch.
Yes.
So it's like, be prepared. You might be getting some, people reaching out and being like, "What?"
I would love to reach out to more people because I did a show with Susan Long. It was Mia Starfire. She was hosting a channeling through art show, and she had me and Stone Hobbit and Susan Long and like two or three other amazing women, and we all showed our art. Like we do canvas art and drawings and things. And when I from the time I saw Susan Long, I was like, I know her. And I was just dumbfounded. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh my God. But I've been intimidated to contact her because I'm like, I don't know. And she looked like my science teacher from freaking middle school. And I remember, and it was weird how my teacher passed away. And so when I saw her, it was like, I was like, that's my seventh grade teacher. What the hell? Like, I thought she died. I don't know. She got a clone out there that I guess at the 20-year mark, they say that the clones make it right. They don't make it after 20 years. I don't know. It's
Some
so
of them
weird.
can.
Yeah, I should reach out. But so
Yeah.
if anybody remembers me in the programs, let me know. I would like to
Susan.
apologize for being an
Yeah.
asshole. If I have been, I'm actually a good person. But
Yeah, well, things that happen on ships or off world are not, you know, I don't take responsibility for those. I'm like, hey,
right.
if my clone wiped the floor with you, I'm sorry, but that's not my fault.
Yeah, exactly. I see SSP like when we're in those situations, like we're playing our avatars, like where our avatars are like I don't know. It's like we can't like it's they're fractals of us. We can't really take responsibility for those actions
Yeah.
unless you have like super strength and you know what you did and you own it in the real like a 3D also. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I only take responsibility for my actions, and the actions of my alters is completely up to my alters, although I have given them instructions. What they do with those instructions are on them.
Yeah.
I don't define their orders unless it's for a specific mission, in which case, then I'm like, yes, I clearly state these are the parameters. You break these parameters, it's on you, not me. And yes, there will be repercussions.
Mhm.
And I have been demoted and promoted several times
Yeah.
because I'm not a huge fan of following rules
Mhm.
in programs. So, yeah,
Yep.
uh, I have that fun nature. But how was your discovery, and how did it impact you learning that you were in the programs?
Well, I had my earliest memory of the SSP is me in the Spartan suit, right? In space, and I'm like, that's weird. Whatever. I just always like wrote it off. I was like, anyway, like how is that relevant, right? And then I found like TSP and I found James Rink and I found all these other people that were talking about these things and I was like, "Oh my god, I I remember some of those things." And it blew honestly it blew my mind to find out that I was part of the community because I just showed up and I was like, "Man, I what got my attention was the spirituality aspect because I'm like, yeah, like one consciousness, we're all one, love, even though like it's like I told Christy Campbell, like we're all part of the we're all like one tiny little mirror on a disco ball, and one of those is like we are also a disco ball, and every little mirror is the multifaceted aspects that make us who we are, but as one consciousness too, right? So that's what brought me in. I was like, yeah, spirituality, like one love, blah blah blah. But then I was like, oh, SSP, that's cool, man, that's crazy what they've gone through. Wow, my heart really goes out to them. And then I was like, me, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Are you sure? Like me?" And me.
No, but I
Yeah.
love how you describe it as a disco ball within a disco ball within a disco ball, because most people are like, yeah, it's, you're like a grain of sand on a beach that's within another beach within, it's like everybody has their different viewpoints, but yours is like the disco ball party. We're
Yeah,
like, we're gonna, have some fun with this and reflecting all kinds of things. But
that's right.
so when you look at the SSP and you look at your involvement in it, a lot of people have different goals of what they're looking for with the knowledge. And by that, an example is like one of my goals is just validating that I was in the programs. I don't need to know what program I was in, what world I operated on, what wars I was a part of. I just, validating that yes, what I'm feeling is correct.
Mhm.
That's one aspect. Another
Yes.
aspect is everybody's like, I want full access to the memories. I want to know everything. And then you have those that are, well, I have partial memory, but I don't know what to do with it and are trying to figure that out. And then there's others, everybody has their own little nuance of what they're looking for in the SSP community, so to speak. And so I'm just curious what call sign Seraphim's, goal and outlook is and what you're looking for.
I want to know, okay, so I've always had a huge disgust for authority, for being told what to do, especially if I don't respect people. I don't care if they're when I was in the army, I didn't give a fuck what their rank was. If you were a ship person, if you are a direct graduate from being a veterinarian and you came in as a captain, but you don't know shit about the army or how we work, fuck you. Like, shut the fuck up. You do your job that you know. I'll do mine, you know? And nothing fucking gets me worse than a cunt who comes in acting like they fucking know how to run it, anything. Bitch, I've been promoted more times than you have in your entire army career, you know? So I don't like being told what to do, especially by people I don't respect. So that reflects very well onto what happened to me in the SSP because, me and the other members of Alpha Squad, we said fuck you. I won't do what you tell me, as Rage Against Machine said, and we left. We said fuck all you, like fuck you guys, no. And we kept close like ties with our people, with our brothers and sisters in SSP, but like fuck authority. You know what I'm saying? We're not your puppets. We're not gonna like be your dog, horse and pony show. And it just makes so much sense. So because of who I know as a person here in the 3D, and that it reflects in the SSP, I do want to know what caused me to to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like what happened? I want to know like what my adventures were that led up to me saying that, because I mean, I will respect authority as long as it's for the greater good, but at some point I want to know what the breaking point was. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I can pretty much tell you what the breaking point was.
Tell
I
me.
mean, we get shit orders of going and doing missions that they're like, we don't care what happens to you. We can regrow you. We can fix anything. So you just go and do this, and it's like it's like we're just property. It's they
Yeah.
don't care whatsoever. And so
Yeah.
I
As long as
mean,
they have a finger or a toe, they can regrow us.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's that kind of mentality can only be erased and experienced so many times before it finally is like, no, you're not sending me or my people to do this anymore.
Hmm.
And you get demoted or reassigned and or kicked out. And
Yeah.
bless you if you can get kicked out, because then they might leave you alone for a while. But
Right.
chances are, yeah, no, you're they'll find a use for you somewhere, even if it's behind a desk. And that's a funny thing. So a lot of people, when you mention secret space program, they hear space, and so they're like, you're operating off world, you're operating on ships, that's so cool, and it must be so cool, seeing everyone. And I can't say enough how everything is compartmentalized. There is no chatting with other people outside of your zone. But
Mhm.
there are also, though, people who are desk jockeys in the SSP, and their job is literally signing paperwork behind a desk. That's what they're tagged
Human
for.
resources.
And it's like, not everybody, gets the quote glorified, going to see different worlds and experience different, cultures. No,
Ambassadorship.
so,
Mhm.
you get stuck doing paperwork in an office just like you would here. It's like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Like Tony Rodriguez, the man. I respect that man so much. He keeps it real. And he
yeah,
was a janitor.
yeah.
Like, bro.
I'm like, yeah, but the thing though that I think personally, what I look for in the community and everything beyond that is who is helping those that are coming from behind. Because I'm of the opinion of, if you have 1 year, 5 years, 30 years, 60 years, researching this and knowledge of this, and somebody who's like day three, of awareness comes up and says, how do you do this? How do I prove this? Or how do I know this? And you say, well, I don't know, you have no memories, and you just get pushed to the side. And they're like, yeah, if you have memories, come see me then, and I can help you figure out then. Well, that's a little unfair, because chances are you didn't have memories when you first
Exactly.
came to realization, and somebody might have helped you, or maybe your memories started flooding in differently, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's where, like, Julie and I, when we talk with our guests and people who are in the programs, we give you the safe space to share what you know,
Mm-hmm.
ask the questions that you want to ask, and learn. And Jane Celia Hatch, she's a lady who I talk to sometimes, and we talk about programs, we talk about real life stuff, and that, I think, is what I feel like the community really should be. Is we're all like a brotherhood and sisterhood. It shouldn't matter what you know, what you don't know, where you operated, where how you got your memories, where, any of that. It should just be to where everybody is welcomed until proven, something's not
Yes, I
right.
agree. I don't like the gatekeeping. Yep.
Yeah.
The gatekeeping and the big ego. Like I did shadow work all of last year to destroy my ego and to face my darkness. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful for that, but I see so many people with overinflated egos in the community, and I'm like, bro, like, you're just like me. You put your pants on one leg at a time. I don't give a fuck who you
Well,
think you
I
are.
don't, but okay.
You just jump into them.
I
Snap
just pull a
bottom.
leg, boom, done. No.
You know, like you say, I agree. There, like, we should be more close knit. And if someone comes and suspects, like, says, "Hey, I think I was in the programs," okay, if I can't help you, let me recommend you to someone that can remote view into
Yeah.
it, or come on to Julia's show. She can pull her pendulum, or come see me. I can open my channel. We can use the rods or my pendulum, whatever. Like, there's a
Yeah.
community. It's like how James Rink had his list of healers and stuff like that. Like, I feel like there should be, I guess Andrew, who has taken over Super Soldier Talk 2, he has one. So maybe I should have him, like, I should message him and be like, hey, can you make a list for people that, like, newcomers, right? That would be helpful.
I'll be kind of honest. I stay out of the super soldier forums because that's where I find a lot of the gatekeeping stems from. Is they all
I don't
have
really go on
their
it either.
their rules, their thoughts of how things should be, and if you don't fit into it, you kind of just get brushed off. And if nobody's heard your name, they're like,
Oh my
yeah. And so
Seriously.
I kind of, just do my own thing. And
Yeah.
it's kind of funny that I have that persona because, like, there's Christy will tell you, a few other people in the programs will tell you, is I can appear out of nowhere and totally help out, and you know that is all done on my own volition. I don't sit there and get orders of, oh, hey, like,
Yeah.
Team Bravo over there is getting overrun. We need to go, assist them. I'm like, I ain't waiting for orders. If I get a friend over there that's in trouble, I'm going over there, and I'm like, screw this. I'm turning the tide.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of why I get promoted and demoted all the time. But
Yeah.
I operate in my own corner of the universe, so to
I like
speak,
that.
and
I
do
like
my
that.
own thing. And but what I find interesting, though, is we're learning, you know, the one facet of the programs that we were never supposed to learn, and we're learning to tap into it. And so, with that in mind, I do have a question for you because you are SSP, and I've mentioned this. I'm sure you've seen it on shows. This question that's coming, so I hope you're prepared for it.
Okay.
With everything you've experienced in the SSP and that you remember, what positives have come from all of this?
Character building. No, I'm kidding. I mean, just like any trauma, right?
Character building. And I'm like, what'd you do? Just watch Halo before you came on?
No, I actually binge watched the whole thing and I'm waiting for season 3. It's a great one though, right?
It is, and I'm so pissed that season 3 is going to be on Netflix because I don't do Netflix.
Yep.
I'm going to have to wait for it to come to DVD.
Yeah. Big lame. Yep. But yeah, honestly, I think I know for sure that a lot of the spiritual powers, that spiritual abilities that we were born with were absolutely magnified and fine-tuned through the programs that we went through, and for that I am grateful for. It's something I wouldn't want to do again per se, but now that it's been done, I'll take it. Like, it's it's fine. But I don't want my son or my other babies in there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's not something I want the kids to go through. I know for a fact my oldest is in the programs. So that sucks. She's super
yeah,
psychic too. Yeah.
and it was funny when we came to the realization about this. Is so my dad being Navy, he was very protective and was like, "You are not going to join the military unless something was it was truly something, but if you join under the lies, he's not going to allow it." And he had retired from the reserves after active at the rank of lieutenant commander. And I only bring that up because there was a funny scenario to where when my senior year, a Navy recruiter came to the high school,
Ooh.
and he looked at me and he said, "You would be a great fit for the Navy. We can, teach you, all kinds of things. And, we're the ones that sail around the world. So you can see the world and, all these adventures." And I said, "Yeah, but I don't want to combat." And he goes, "We can guarantee you won't get combat." And my dad heard that and got on the phone call to that recruiter and said, "You are talking to Lieutenant Commander in the Navy. How are you going to tell my son he is guaranteed no combat? How?"
Mhm.
And he's like, "Sir, um, and and I was getting calls from the Marines and from other branches, but after that conversation, I got nobody calling me. It was like, "Oh yeah, you messed with an officer's son and you got caught in a lie." And they were like, "Nope, we are not touching that one now. He is not marked for service. Do not approach. Do not call." It was like, oh yeah.
Oh my god,
But
that's funny.
but yeah, I mean, I was all ready to sign the papers thinking, how cool, that I could go and see the
No
world,
comment?
be, no combat.
Yeah.
And so for those of you who are wondering, I graduated high school in 96 when around Persian Gulf 1 was going on. And so that's where I was like, oh yeah, Daddy O was not gonna sit there and send his son over to fight in the desert after being told, oh no, you'll never see, combat. He's like, yeah, you will.
Hmm.
He was like, nope, you're not going. Well, the humorous thing about it is so I never actually did serve in mainstream, military terms, but I did serve in the SSP. And so the joke became, well, yeah, I didn't serve in this military, but I did end up serving in the military. So it didn't quite work out as planned, but hey, at least I have clandestine, things. And that's one of the things that's funny too is, when you finish with military service,
Hmm.
it looks really great on your resume. And people are like, ooh, I can hire this vet. That,
Uh-huh. Disciplined.
really great, persona and image, for the company and everything. Someone like me who has the secret space program, if I put that on my
Put
resume,
it on the resume, yeah.
I would be laughed out of that door and I would be like, yeah, well, there is
It'd be
no
like,
way we're
okay, Call of
putting
Duty.
you into any position. And it's like, yeah. And so, again, where I go with this is, to everybody who's out there who's claiming they're something that they're not, you know, in military, it's false valor
Hmm.
and
Stolen
is
valor.
very criminal.
Oh yeah, we I will wear someone's skin suit for fucking stolen valor.
That's a Tiffany thing, not a military thing.
That's my favorite. I'm sure I've done it in the SSP because I I think about it as often as I talk about it, and I talk about it all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, I can picture now, your SSP locker room, instead of having uniforms, it's like different skin suits just hanging in there on a hanger waiting. Which one are we going to use today?
Which one? Who are we infiltrating?
But
Uh,
in actually, in a little bit of seriousness, because you got to have humor talking about the SSP, otherwise you will go insane.
yeah.
When you look at, everything, you hear other people's stories and you know, hear what they went through, where they operated, what experiences they, had.
Yeah.
Is there a group or faction of the SSP you're like, man, if I have not been a part of that, I so want to be a part of it? And can I, and be like in your mind going, how can I get myself on the radar of that group?
Um, I don't know. I don't know, honestly, because my first memory is of me in a Spartan suit. So is that Space Marine? Like in Halo? Or what is it? Because I've always thought, I always played Halo and I'm like, this shit's badass. If it was real, which I kind of think it is because I remember, like
Oh, it's
I've
real.
already got checking the box. And then
That would be Super Soldier.
yes, yes, SSP Super Soldier, yes. But I've gotten a positive on Solar Warden and Nachtwaffen. And so I thought that those were like pretty cool. And so I wanna
Those are
if
two I got.
yeah, I wanna dive deep into it and be like, okay, so what was it like? I don't know. I'm big on like documentaries, like World War II documentaries, even the most boring shit, that stuff that will put Brett to sleep, I'm about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like I'll listen to the most tedious of stories. I don't care. Just give me the details. I don't know.
'Cause I'm just curious because there is a faction that James and I think, have in common, if memory serves right, from talking with him, Witkiss, and that, I was just curious, because it's a part of the programs that really messes with the mind because of how it's done, and that is the time core.
Oh, it's yeah. I have a feeling that I am a part of it because I feel the same. Like when every time I've had a suspicion of like anything in the programs, like I feel it in my solar plexus. I feel like the silver cord pull, like the soul pull towards it, and I feel it. I guess I just gotta ask Christy about it. I gotta
Yeah.
do some.
Well,
I don't
I
know.
found out I'm time core because I totally had an experience where I learned about it before I learned what the secret space program was.
How'd you come across that first?
So, a friend of mine took me on a future regression, and I know, saying future sounds weird to learn about past, but this is
Well,
how the
time is
time
not linear.
core operates. But in my future regression, my I led a team that we had uniforms that we would wear that would automatically change our voices to speak whatever language where we land. And there were devices on our uniforms that whatever the clothing was of the time where we were,
Mhm.
we would match. So it's like there was
Nice.
no way to know we did not fit in there. And our voices, we would literally, like, say, ending up in ancient Egypt, we would have the dialect of wherever we were, and our
Nice.
voices would be modified to project out the perfect dialect. So it would be like we're a local. So nobody would pay any attention to us being there. And we would walk, and we would see what's going on, carry out a few operations of, if something happened that shouldn't have happened, we go figure out where it happened, correct it, and then we would come back. And it was always, and this was something that I did. And so I was like, okay, well, then I learned about the secret space programs, and I started learning about how in the secret space program are labs where, they can take and put us in the past or put us in the future. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I totally saw that in a future regression.
Yeah.
And I just thought I was doing some spiritual deal. And now I, wonder, I have to sit there and think, hey, I probably was doing this for, the programs, because I even had a friend who was doing a reading for me said she saw me in the future where I was in a lab, and presidents that no longer exist
Mhm.
and current presidents were sharing information, and I had knowledge of who was there because I was an officer there, and I had the ability to jump time there. And so that's twice that I have memories, uh, or acknowledgement
Oh,
of operating in time. And I struggle with time here. It's like somebody will say to me, oh, we'll meet up at 5. And I'm like, what's 5? And they're like, your time 5. I'm like, okay, my time 5. Got it.
yeah, me too.
But, yeah. And I'm like, and, I'll be like, here is one facet of time that people don't think about, And I can't, fault guests for this because it's not a common thing. But as a host, when we're scheduling shows and we say, oh, 8 o'clock Central Time, and they're like, oh, can we do, 7? I'm assuming we're talking 7 Central Time because that's what I'm in. Well, I'm going under the guise that there is Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern, UK GMT, Greenwich Means Time. Now I find out there is Pacific Standard Time, Pacific Direct Time, which doesn't change with
Oh,
daylight savings. Then there is Mountain Standard Time, Mountain Direct Time, or Arizona Time, where they don't
oh,
change the
they don't
time
change it.
zone for
Mhm,
daylight savings. I
mhm.
haven't heard that of Central, but Eastern has 2 time zones. In Newfoundland,
Oh,
Canada, God bless them, they are. I have a friend that she does podcast, JV, and uh, NL podcast. If you ever get, or NL Newfoundland podcast, if you ever get a chance to be on there, it's great. But there's a caveat to that is like she will say to me, "Hey, can are you available at 7:30 p.m. my time?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah. So you're Eastern time, so that would be 6:30 my time, right?" And I think she's like, "No, that's like 5 your time." And I'm like, "Or 6." I'm like, "But you said 7:30." And she's like, "Yeah,
uh-huh.
Newfoundland does a half hour added to the equation." And I'm like, "What?"
They just have to complicate it.
And so then I'm like, "Yeah." And then, like, there are parts of Australia that don't do the time zones. Japan doesn't do time
Oh,
daylight savings. And I'm like, okay, in all seriousness, as a globe, can we or can we not sit down and be like, this is now going to be standard time
yes.
and it's never going to change in the seasons now. 6 is 6, no
Mhm.
matter where you are.
Yeah.
6 o'clock in Texas will be 5 o'clock in, New
In Arizona.
Mexico,
Yeah.
and 4 o'clock in California.
Mhm.
We don't need to be going, well, Arizona, we're actually in the 4 o'clock part, not the 5 o'clock. I'm like, we need
It's such a
clear lines where
yes.
it is because it gets super confusing because there are some parts of even like Florida's panhandle is central time and some of the west coast of Florida is central time because the Eastern Standard Time line doesn't quite reach that area. And I'm like, you
Mhm.
realize how confusing that is when your state has 2 different time zones?
Yeah. Yeah.
I really honestly feel like if we're going to keep these daylight savings time zones or these time zones, it ought to be done by state. So,
I
like,
feel like they should get rid of it for sure. It's a pain in the ass every 6 months.
there's got to be a simpler way. And I'm like, Alaska, Washington, Oregon, California, you know, maybe, we can
Nevada.
do Arizona,
Mhm.
Montana, Idaho, Nevada, because those are the border states there.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're the Pacific time zone.
Yep.
No matter where you are in that state, you're Pacific.
Pacific. Yep.
Then Central Time be the Central States, the
It makes
Midwest.
sense.
The Eastern Time Zone, is
Mhm.
the states on the East Coast. The,
Exactly.
the problem then comes in, you have the states between the Midwest and the coasts. So I'm like, and hear me out. I was talking about how confusing the time zones are. What if we had the Western Mountain Time, Eastern Mountain Time,
That makes sense.
to where that's the regions where those time zones are, and everybody follows it. And if it reaches up into Canada, that's up to
Yep.
Canada if they want to follow this
Yeah.
and
Yep.
make their lives easier too. But I'm like,
It would be. I
it's
get so
just,
confused too.
yeah.
Like Julia, I was trying to book with Julia and she's like, "How's this time?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking know." I was so confused because I didn't
She's
know.
6 hours ahead of us.
Yeah. And so I was like, "Look, Julia, just tell me what time to show up and I will be there."
But
And
but
she
here's the
didn't.
thing: the UK. I deal with this so much because I do a show with a friend in the UK. Cal, shout out to you with Paranormal Verses and E. We deal with, I will say, okay, we're doing a show 3 o'clock Central Time, 9 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time because it's 6 hours. They go into daylight savings a week before we do. And so I have to watch and make sure when scheduling in November shows going, wait, am I accounting for the time change because they change ahead of us?
Mhm.
But here's the fun fact. Y'all are going to love this. We come out of daylight savings 3 weeks before Britain does. And so it's like on the tail end, I am an hour closer, but they're still there on their hour difference. And so
Mhm.
it's like, wait a minute. And it's like that. And to me, that's where, like, when people will argue with me that time is a natural measurement of time, I'm like, uh, the sun up, going down, the moon up and going down. That's natural progression of time. I'll give you that. Although nowadays it's sun up and moon up and sun
Mhm.
down, but moon stays up.
Mhm.
So it's like, nighttime's becoming daytime
Yeah.
apparently. But saying 1 o'clock is 1 o'clock, that is artificial
Yes. Time is
because
construct.
as much as y'all want to tell me it's not, that it is not man-made, that it is natural, if it was natural, Britain, Canada, US, every country in the world would be changing the exact same time, the exact same measurement. It would be precise everywhere. Not,
Mhm.
we're not doing it here, or we're going to be changing ours 3 weeks ahead of you, or 3 weeks after
Yes.
you. It's like, the hell is that?
It's so confusing and frustrating.
It is.
It really is. It's crazy. I would like to see how life was before time was a thing, you know? I think life
Oh,
was easier. Rise up. You
not
get up when the sun
necessarily.
comes up. Huh?
Oh, you're talking about that time. Oh, okay.
Like old, old, old.
I thought you were meaning time, like where it's like there is no year, there is no
Oh,
day. It's like everything is just a block of energy time, and I'm like,
well,
oh
that would
yeah,
be great.
those days, God, are so. it was so funny because it's like, yeah, you had no idea. It's like, when we laugh and we say, oh, we've reached the age where I don't even know if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's just a day that ends in day.
Hmm.
Well, this was a time when there was no day.
There was no day.
So it's
Yeah.
like God only knows how old you actually became because there was no procession of time like that.
Measuring. Yeah.
And so you could live
Mhm.
an eon in a blink of an eye. And the fact that, like, in biblical times, the lifespan of a human was 900 years,
Yeah.
which, fun fact, Yoda was in his 900s when he died.
Hey.
Just saying. They probably looked the same too.
Yeah.
No,
Probably.
Noah probably was Yoda, for all we know. But, you know, lifespans got shorter.
Mhm.
Well, lifespans didn't actually get shorter. It's our concept of time
Mm.
changed and our calendar system changed. And so our aging system changed. And so leap years. Do you all understand the fact of the leap year is because when they actually wrote this down, the definition of the leap year is when they changed it from a 13 month to a 12 month, they had an extra day.
Mhm.
So to equalize it out and spread it amongst time, every 4 years there's an extra day that balances out the equation.
Mhm. Why not just
Again,
do that 13 months, right?
yeah,
I feel like they love to overcomplicate things. We have a saying in the army that if it makes sense, the army won't go for it. You know, like
yeah, that makes sense for the army.
yeah.
No offense taken, the Navy guy, we know about the Army, but
Yes.
not only though was it 13 days, but each month was, I think, if memory serves right,
Wasn't it like 28, 28
was
days?
25 days, I think, or something like that. But every month was the same.
Mhm.
But the comical system of our months is, and a lot of people don't actually know this, but
Like December is should have been for October, like the 10th month.
I think that is
Yeah.
how it is. But
December,
yeah, all when we
yes.
went from the Gregorian calendar system to the Julian calendar system,
Mhm.
I believe is how it went. Or no, it was
Julian to
Julian, then
Gregorian.
the Gregorian.
Yep. We
My
actually used
dyslexia.
the Julian one in the army.
Well, when Gregorian took over, our months got totally mixed up
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
Augustus or August was supposed to be the second month. April was the first month, and the months were in actual alphabetical order.
Yes.
But so the 10th month actually wasn't December.
Hmm. It wasn't?
It would be October, I believe. I think October was still the 10th month because I think they were in like alphabetical order by also by the names of emperors,
Hmm.
if I remember it correctly. And so
December would be like decimal, like 10th?
Deca.
Deca? Yeah. Now I'm Googling.
I know. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
Julian calendar month order now. January's. Okay, so that's weird. It says the Julian Gregorian calendar share the same 12-month order. That's not
That's not true.
exactly true.
That can't be true.
They
No.
they changed it. So I'm gonna look up.
Hmm.
Okay, what were the original 10 months of the year? And a year was only 304 days. This was the Roman calendar.
Yep.
And that is even more confusing to look at.
It is.
Well,
It
what's funny
goes.
is so in Rome, the first month was Martius, which is
Mm-hmm.
March,
Yep.
named for the god of war, Aprilis for April, Maius for
Mhm.
May, Junius for June,
Junius, Junia
Quintilius for July, Sextilis for August, and then
is.
it's September, October, November, December.
That's so weird.
But it's, yeah, I mean, the calendars have all been altered.
The calendars, the clock, the time zones. That's crazy.
It is. And the lunar was a 13th month because there was 12.36 lunar cycles in a single year, so 13 months tracked those cycles.
Makes sense.
Um, why did we switch from 13 to 12? And it says the Babylonians and Egyptians found 12 to be more convenient in mathematics.
Mm,
I somehow don't think so.
I don't think so either. Sounds like fluff. I think someone was like, let's
Oh,
see how far I can push this.
here's something interesting that AI just found out. So I don't know if this is a true reality or not, but it said, did February 31st ever exist? And it says February 31st or 31 February does not exist in the Julian calendar or Gregorian calendar. However, it is used on gravestones when the date is never really known.
Oh,
It's also used with February 32nd and 33rd for weather data
for weather data, that's why.
because of the wind cycles and
Mm,
the seasonal, the seasons have their own system. So, yeah, so
interesting.
there you go. There's a little extra tangent
Oh,
knowledge for you all that what is this, the calendar of Numa. What is the calendar of Numa? I've never heard of that calendar.
I
Let's
don't know. I've
see.
never heard of that. Is that from an ancient civilization as
Rome.
well? Rome. Okay.
It's supposed to be the calendar that was in existence before the Julian calendar.
Oh my.
And I'm looking to see. Uh, oh, it's a little article, but it's hard to read what they were saying. But it was a cycle of named festivals that persevered in capital letters in the Roman calendars, and it formed the basis for the study of the Roman religion ever since Mommsen published his edition of the Fasti in 1863, where the festivals as a whole to the period of Numa was sometime modified by the work of Wasawa and Ward Fowler, who were doing topographical evidence based on the Etruscan kings. And it's still customary to this day to them in the regal period and to assume they had already at that time been assigned to fixed days of the month. The cycle has therefore been interpreted as Sil 1, and it just gives different deals. It's like, not really answering that. I love when websites, will tell you, hey, we have this answer for you, and then you read it and you're like, I have no
We
answer.
actually don't.
I'm like, yeah, this, no.
Yep. Yep.
But, yeah, and so going back, to like SSP, being super soldier or being, space, jockey or, pilot or,
Mhm.
there's all kinds of roles that we play,
Yeah.
and it is play.
Yep.
But is there, any shows like we talked about Halo being, memory to these programs? Is there any other shows that you've come across that you're like, oh my god, this is totally SSP?
Stargate off the bat for sure. Uh I grew up watching Star Trek and Star Wars, but as much as I like Star Wars, I like Star Trek more. And I feel like
Mhm.
I vibe with that. I align more with that. Um yeah, and oh, remember, okay, did you ever watch, I think it was 13 Monkeys or 12 Monkeys? It was a show, it ran for like 3 seasons. This guy goes on a trip chair and he time travels through it.
No, but I know there is a movie, 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, with Brad Pitt. I think it was like 12 Monkeys or 13 Monkeys. It was on like
Um,
5 years ago, I think. That one tripped me
there
out a
is a
lot.
TV show, 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
I'm
This
looking to
guy time travels
see.
to fix things.
Oh, okay. It was in 2015 to 2018.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Yeah.
It was a 4 season sci-fi thriller, originally on Sci-Fi. I think I do remember this
It was good, right?
because I this was back when Sci-Fi changed itself to the SYFY, and I
That's
was always
right.
like, what the, what is that? And it would
Yeah.
confuse me, but
Changing the logo on us. And then there was another show. I don't remember the name of it. Man. It was time travel also. When I remember, I'll message you and tell you about it. I don't remember exactly though. But talk about the time core. Sean and Christy have seen remote viewed me. I I remote view before I teleport to other places, and I time travel through teleportation also throughout the galaxy, and apparently I have free range because they kind of fear my power, but they still have enough control over me to have me toe the line. So I don't know.
no.
Yeah, and I'm a guardian of a jump gate in the 10th dimension.
The jump gates. I remember having to use those. Those were so fun.
Yep.
I used to be the one kid that would be like, they're like, you got to stand on this platform and then it'll jump you to where you need to go. And I'd be like, okay. And they're like, well, you're up. You need to walk up there. And I'd be like, okay. And I'd just start running and just like run onto the pad and like jump
Ready.
in a running start and be like, yeah, this is how we're really going to move.
Parkour.
Then I was like, and then I was like, shortly thereafter, I realized I like totally like I was at the jump pad for the moon, and I was standing and I was floating outside of the pad, and I'm looking at somebody, and I was like, "So you think you can jump to where we're going faster than me?" And I was like, "Really? All right." And so they stepped on the pad, and I was giving them full benefit of the doubt of when they stepped on the pad. I was like, I looked down and I'm like, okay, I think I've given them enough time. And I appear and I look like this, and they finally come through, and I'm like, what kept you? Because
What
I
happened?
figured out I don't need the jump. I can figure out how to get around. I figured out how to get around without it. And so I was
Yeah.
like, man, y'all are slow using this tech. You need to
Yeah,
let go of the tech.
right.
But you also do have to be careful though, because I have seen it's rare, but I have seen where people will like think themselves somewhere, but they're not like totally focused on where,
Mhm.
and will manifest themselves inside structures
Oof.
or a part
Ye
of nature and the place, and it's like, yep, you're going back to the drawing board. You screwed
yes.
that one up. You're
I
back
had
on the jump pad.
I had memories and knowledge of seeing people do that even as a kid before I knew anything about the SSP. It's wild that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I haven't had that happen that I know of, and I probably don't have it. That I it probably never happened for me, but
Yeah. I don't know if it
and
happened for me, but I
it's
remember it happening to others for sure.
and just FYI, when we say, it didn't happen for us, we're not saying because we were better than
No.
somebody else or, operating at a different level. It's just we have a more acute awareness that we utilized. And so, yes,
Yep.
jumping to like a planet, landing on the surface of the planet, not halfway in the ground of that planet, is something you can totally
Yep.
visualize and not have to calculate. Where if you're one of those that needs to like use the jump pads, yeah, you better stick with those because they calculate it for you.
Yeah, till you master it. And it's like I tell my younger cousins, and my friends, I used to tell my soldiers, you can't compare your path to others because you don't know the journeys that others have taken to get to where they are. And so don't think you're you're not as good as like or you're not to the same standard or don't think other people are better than you. We're all the same, but we've all taken different journeys to get to the path that we're at the moment,
Right.
you know? I don't think I'm
And
better than anyone. I see everybody as my equal, so
the other thing is, so I get how cool it sounds to say, yeah, I operate in space, or I have been on different worlds and doing peace talks or fighting battles or,
mhm.
skirmishes or, creating worlds. All of that sounds really cool and everything. But as cool and everything as that sounds, if you have not actual knowledge of it, don't claim it, because we know real quick who does and who doesn't have knowledge of it. And I used to, talking about a TV show, one of my favorite shows that wasn't really sci-fi related, but was like my favorite I watched growing up. That was The Highlander.
I love the Highlander.
And the fact that they could sense each other
Yes.
around, I was like, "Damn, we need that,"
Yes.
we need that skill with, the SSP and everything,
Find the needle in the
sensing,
haystack. Yeah.
each other, and then it's like, and some people have told me we do have that ability, and and I look at, well, do we? And then I'm like, well, like you and I cross paths. What are
Mhm.
the odds?
Mhm.
Julia being in the UK crossing paths with us over here in the US,
Mhm.
what are the odds?
Yep.
And so there must actually, I kind of feel like there must be something around. And
I think so too.
I I have a friend who, if she's watching, I'm not going to say her name, but she has recently reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I talked to this person who was in the programs, and some of it, it's like when I heard it, it was like that could be me." And so she started to ask the questions,
Mhm.
am I this? How do I know? And started to reach out. And that is exactly what you need to do.
Yes.
When you watch something, say you watch Halo, and you're like, hey, that uniform looks familiar. And it kind of irks me that they only show the nano suit in the intro,
Mhm.
because that would be so badass if they put
Yes.
that in as the regular show. You know,
Mhm.
it's like, that forming on them. I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
because the nano suit was like my awareness of, oh my god, I know this program. I know that I recognize the suit.
Mhm. Yep.
And I even reached out to one of my SSB friends and I was like, "Oh my god, did you see the intro to Halo?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "You gotta
Get
watch
it
it." And they
on.
watched it and they were like, "Oh my god." I was like,
It's there in your face.
"That's the suit." I was like, "I know."
Yes.
But
Yeah. I've been
it's
telling
like,
you guys. I've been telling everyone. You guys gotta watch it.
but yeah, but there's also the caveat of, because we've been talking about it so many times and so many people have referenced it,
Mhm.
I think it comes a point to where, somebody will say, "Yeah, I recognize the suit." And some people are automatically like, "Oh yeah, we used it here, 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 and this ways." And they're like, "Yeah, but they really didn't." And it's
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
they're gaining and using, and they're gathering all of these stories and experiences to then turn around and make them their own. And I
Yep.
always will say, there's no glory, there's no medals, there's no pension, there's no accolades. We don't go into a restaurant and, I know
Feeling
this is
better in
going
the
to sound
day.
kind of cold, where, we walk into a restaurant, no one's going to offer us free coffee or anything,
No one's gonna buy your lunch.
but the people who actually serve, they deserve that accolade, and they deserve that, recognition. And, the true people that, are in all of this don't do it for those accolades. It's like the soldiers who really persevere in the military system aren't the ones that are in it for themselves. They're in it for the person next to them, keeping them safe and keeping their families safe and those around them. And they're constantly, making decisions of, yes, I'm, in this building taking fire. And if I step outside, yeah, I could probably drop three or four of them before I fall.
Mhm.
But who's going to take care of my kids then? And so you stay in the building.
Yep.
until you have no choice. Like you're running out of ammo. You need to create an
Sacrifice.
opening. You'll make that sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
for the greater good.
Yep.
And the ones who are in it for themselves, they'll find action and they will do, as I like to affectionately call the quote unquote dumbass stupid move, and they'll be dropped. And the
Oh,
the team has to go and grab their butt and pull him back, and hopefully he learns his lesson or she learns her lesson.
mm-hmm.
Equal opportunity, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah. I can't wait
there's
for
Solomons.
these programs to actually be disclosed because it would be nice to see like everybody recognized and have some type of like pension or something to take care of them. Like you have people like Penny Bradley, you have people like Julia, her ankles messed up. Like the stuff that we do on the programs, it really does reflect on our bodies too, you know? Um,
Yeah, but so my thoughts on that is the programs will most likely become public knowledge. The rosters, not so much,
no.
because let's be honest. This
The
is a clandestine project.
Yep,
There's gonna be like little to no paper trail, and
for sure.
so that's where, to me, it's like when people will say, "Where's your proof you were a part of this?" I'm like, really? Where's your proof? It's like,
Right. Well, like I
it's,
like what I think Drago Reed says it best is remote view me. I ain't fucking scared. I'm not scared. Remote view me.
yeah.
We just found Drago Reed's
Oh,
SSP experiences. That's funny. You know,
yeah.
like there's
And
no paper trail. What are you talking about?
yeah, and I was excited to be meeting my twin in the program soon, but that actually got pushed back a little bit
No,
and won't be
why?
as soon. There's reasons, and it's, I respect the reasons, and we talked about it and everything, and we've already figured out how our introduction to the world is going to be and everything. But where I was going with it though is when Drago announced Julia in that thing,
That was
he made
beautiful.
a comment of, where's, here we are, telling our story, and the stories need to be told.
Hmm.
And so some of what he was saying in there kind of sparked something in me, because we both have shared our stories separately.
Hmm.
And so I started talking to my twin, and I was like, hey, what's your thoughts about, kind of doing a special project of doing something, along these lines of this type of disclosure? And we both were like, our first thoughts were, oh, hell yeah. Except now reality has struck in, and we're like, yeah, this is going to be like almost freaking impossible to do because we're not local to each other. And so we're like, yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to work. And so I'm like, yeah, we're going to be like, it's almost like it's going to be like, okay, here's my part, ship it off to my twin and be like, add your part, ship it back. We'll piece it together, make it one fluid experience story and story and story, and we'll make a presentation, out of this, and make it this or that. But I'm not going to tell you in what form we're going to present it, because that's
Oh, I'll
going to
just say I
be,
love surprises.
yeah, it's a work. But I will just say, on a other side note that has nothing to do with that project, though, talking about surprises, I do currently, I know, it seems like I've kind of retired from writing because nothing's been published since March. And we're like approaching July, and usually I'm like one right
Usually,
after another.
yeah.
I do have three very specific themed books that I am working on. And I am in the process of probably being half done with my current book that I'm working on, which I will share with you all because it is being written, because it is foremost in my face right now. And that is my metaphysical view of death and the afterlife. And so in the first chapter, I share the pets that I've lost and how their deaths impacted me. Because
Your first
I'm
introduction
sorry,
to this.
pets are not pets to me. Pets are family.
Mm.
So it hits me differently with that. And so I write about those. I write about certain family members because each one had a different role in my life. And so I share what the impact of that role was. Well, I am getting ready to write my mom and dad's stories of the impacts of their passings on me. And so that shows you how current I am in this book. And the fact that I'm half done, it's like, yeah, so there's a section missing. And I'm happy to announce I am going to share my channeling history as part of this book. And yes, I did channel. It's not something I talk about a lot because I kind of stepped away from, or so I thought. And finding out it just took a new form. And so I'll be sharing that. And I will be sharing my parents' story.
That's
How they,
beautiful.
and by my parents' story, I am talking about how they met, what life was like for them, all the stories. So, like the story I shared earlier about the haunted house, it's going to make an appearance in this book. All of the experiences that they told me are going to be included. The arrival of me and my sibs, and the impact of us growing up, where we are now. And so the caveat, though, to it is I am not reaching out to anyone to get their story or their, what they know of my parents. These are me sharing all of my knowledge and my story of them. And so you're going to get fun stories. You're going to get like interesting little nuances of life. And it's going to be written in my format of turning word into picture. So I'm not exactly 100% sure that, I'm going to even put any photos in this book. But if I do, It'll be in tribute form, probably, most likely, but it'll be a few photos, maybe, not a lot. Not like I've done in other books where I'm like, hey, here's my entire life in photos or my entire dad's life in photo. It's like, nope, this is going to be a little bit more fine tuned and more precise to, yeah, what it, hearing all of this and knowing all of this, what it did for me and shaped me into who I am, which in turn goes back to how I see death and the afterlife because their entire story is part of my story, which is part of their story, which, yeah, welcome to the SSP. That's how we work. Stories become stories, and the linear method of telling that story makes no sense because we don't operate in that sense.
No, no. I
So
look
yeah,
forward to that.
I'm hoping to find time to start picking up and writing again. And I kind of mentioned this too because something guided me to look at Amazon today, and I found that I actually sold two books this month, or two or three books, maybe three books. And I thank you for that. And I also noticed three books were viewed for free. And I'm kind of like,
Hmm.
hey, thank you for reading the book. And I'm just, in the back of my mind, I'm kind of curious how you got it free.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And, because I'm like, I didn't know that was an option. The only thing I'm thinking of is like if somebody's in the Kindle Unlimited program,
Oh,
if the book has been put in that, I'm like, oh yeah, you're paying a monthly fee to read the book, and so I'm kind of curious if that, you're spending more money to read the book for free, or is there really savings in doing that? But it was a nice surprise to see that some of the books have sold, and it was like, and it was it wasn't like book one, two, three. It was like different random books, and I was like, I love that because that was my intention. Was you read the variation of my story that you're interested in, and you can skip the rest.
yeah.
So, yep. And so the other two books, I'm still going to keep those stories to myself right now because those are topics that I got to figure out and figure out how I'm going to work them in as full books. And I might actually even break my tradition of doing hard copy, soft copy, digital version. And those two books, I might just do soft copy and Kindle and not do the hard copy because the subject matters. I might just make them standalone, no addition, no anything added. And just FYI, I don't, throw things in the book just to make page quota. No, everything that I put in the book flows to that topic. And so, as much as we're talking about, oh, I'm adding this, and it doesn't seem like it's going to tie into the theme of the book, it will.
It
Just
will.
wait.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah.
So, where can people? So, you're on YouTube. So, what can people find on your YouTube?
You can find my 2 sessions with Christy Campbell. I have, I don't know, Julia Anchor Havens, my interview with her, my one interview with Rob from Typical Skeptic, and I have the channeling through art with Mia Starfire. I have it in my email. I just have to upload it. So it should be on my channel soon because it was a really good session also. But and then I'm gonna upload this afterwards too. So
Very cool.
yeah,
And
I
so,
just started, but I had my first premiere like 2 weeks ago, I think.
congratulations.
Thank you. I follow you on my 2 YouTube accounts too.
Yeah, I have four. So, yeah,
Oh,
it's,
nice.
I'm one of those that it's like people love because it's like, you send me a follow request and and I look at who it comes from, and so if I see it before it's like it's buried and like or hidden away from me because I get so many notifications
Uh-huh.
that if I see like, oh, this person subscribed, I will click and I will go and I will look at what's there, and 9 times out of 10 I will follow back. But if I go there and I'm like, I'm sorry, you got what on your channel? You are talking about what? None of this makes any sense, or I don't understand, your theme of what is on your channel is like completely opposite of what's on my channels. Chances are I'm probably not going to follow you back because I'm like, I just,
Don't want to see it.
I'm questioning, in my mind, how did you find me and why, and if you don't
Just at you.
comment or, send any, inkling that you're interested in any of this, then yeah, I'm more likely to pass by. But if I see, comments and I try to, respond as quickly as I can, but I don't always get notified. So I get random checks now where I go into the YouTube channels, especially now that I got my energy that surrounds us channel back under my authority, that I'm like, oh, now I can stay current, and I try to, respond quicker to comments and check them all and keep the channels active. And
Hey, that's
yeah,
good. Yeah,
so it's a lot of work, but it's, labor of love.
absolutely.
And so thank you for coming on. And I know we were talking about it for a while, and it was like, yeah, figuring out when and what we were going to talk about and how it was
Yeah.
going to work, and,
Waiting for school
what's
to
what.
finish. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me over. It was a great
Yeah.
talk. It's always great talking to you on the phone, FaceTime, whatever.
Oh,
Here.
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And, you know, I say this a lot, but this, is one of those rare moments where it's like it really is you got to follow Tiffany and my channels because we appear all over the place, and you never know when our paths are going to cross. We don't always know when our paths are going to cross.
Mhm.
And we talk offline just like we were tonight, talking about things. And so, yeah,
Yep.
it's 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 one of those, rare things where you find someone that you can talk to about things that understands kind of what you're going through, because even though, both of us have SSP backgrounds, doesn't necessarily guarantee we're going to be able to relate to everything and bring, awareness and understanding to everything. But it does help to have a basis of knowing that, anything that Tiffany brings up to me or I bring up to her, we're not going to look at each other and go, yeah, right. And be like, oh, and then write, oh, so that's this, and this. It's like we're gonna actually see the topic and be like, I gotta think about this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rabbit
hold
hole.
on. Yeah. And then it's like, hey, about this and this, and it's like, yeah. And sometimes I think I've even like taken a day to respond to something you'll ask me, and you're kind of like, I know, right? And I'm like, yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, sorry it took me so long to respond, but it's like I really had to think about what you asked me, and I was like, yeah. It was like, what? Where did this even come from? And that's like where I'm also look at too is like, where's this coming from? What
Yeah.
is going on? What's being asked, and am I understanding this right? And the nice thing is it's coming from her too, and we'll we even have the type of friendship that, and Tiffany does this more than I do, I will admit, and I have done it though, but we will say we'll say hello or hey, apologies that it's taken me so long to respond, this is what's been going on. And it's like
Yep.
it's like I see it and I'm like, has it been that long? When, what do you mean? And it's like I'll be looking, I'll be like, oh yeah, apparently,
Oh,
yeah.
a
And it's like
full.
the time, just goes by and it doesn't register. But it's
Yeah.
like, but we still are like, hey, I'm not ignoring you. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what was going on. And it's like, wow, you have
Mhm.
had a lot going on. Wow. Okay, cool. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, now that we know this, okay, yeah, this and that. And Tiffany cracked me up so much. I will tell you all this before we end this because we are at almost 2.5 hours. But when I do my promos, what you all do not realize is yes, I create these images, but these images are approved and are like viewed as perfection to my guests. And until I reach that point, I do not make it public. And I don't generate links for the shows. That's why some of them will come in later than others. If you follow the YouTube, side of it. Well, Tiffany was, like going, we could talk about this, and it was like randomizing a lot of things. And I was like, okay, let me put this into ways that I can put it as, topics on the bottom of the screen. And I picked random images and I was like, and I feel very confident that some of those images, she was like, where did you find that? And I was like, yeah, I did my homework on that. But because, when you have no logos or book covers or anything, it's like you got this big void space. So let's fill it with, stuff that's related to the show.
Mhm.
Well, I wrote down like a couple of things topic wise, and I'm like, okay, I haven't heard from her in a day or two, so I'm guessing it's okay, but I'll wait, that's my policy. And then she goes, "Hey, this is great, except this doesn't fit. This isn't me." And I'm like, "Oh, well, you said this part." "Well, yeah, that is a part, but that wasn't because of this." And I was like, "Oh." And then
Classic
she's
me.
like, "Oh, well, I'm actually classified as this." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I write it up and she's like, "No, that's not what that means. It means this." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "This is great. I'm getting, this down. It's going to be perfect and everything." Well, then Tiffany decides to pull a Tiffany. "Well, it's really great, but I'm not quite so sure about this, but I don't want to keep making you change it, so it's okay." And I'm like, "What's the change? Just tell me the change because I had the screen open. I'm right here." And she was like, "Okay, well, can we add this? And this is more of what this is." And I was like, "Okay, I'll rework." And finally, I got it, and she was like, "Yes, that's perfect." And I know full fact that it was not 100% perfect, but it was close enough that she was like, "Yes, he is gonna throw me off of this show if I keep going and making more and more changes because the verbiage is this or that." And I'm on my side going, "Just give me all the changes at once. Stop doing this one change here, one change there. Just give it to me all at once." And so, yeah, we were having fun with the thumbnail image, and I had to keep reminding her. I'm like, "I don't make this public until you view it as perfect." And so she was
Mhm.
like, "Well, in that case, if you can do this one little last change, then I can say it's perfect." I'm like, "Okay." Finally got there.
I think we went back and forth like 7 or 8 times.
He did.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like calm as can be, making the changes. And she's like, "I know you're hating me right now." I'm like, "Why?
You're the
Why am
patron
I
saint
hating
of
you?" And
patience.
yeah, and she's like, "Well, I know this is irritating you that I keep changing this." And I'm like, "No." What would irritate me more in actuality is if something was wrong on there and you don't say anything and then are like, and then it goes public and it's like, "Oh, yeah, this isn't, I don't actually qualify for this title." And it's like, "And so you let me do
Why
that?
didn't you
Why?
say it? Yeah.
You let me go public with it? Why?"
That's why you
And,
proofread.
but yeah, but yeah, it was so funny going back and forth and being like, "How's this?" And I think I even finally stopped saying it, and I just started just sending the images and was like, "Stop
Mhm.
asking questions," and being like, "Okay, is this it now?"
Yeah.
And I think, like, I probably was at the point, though, in all honesty, at the 8th going, "Oh my god, I don't know what's left to change, and seriously, if you come up with something, I'm gonna be like, if it's a freaking spelling error, so
Oh.
help me God." I'm like, We're not going for a record 10 changes here." But I'm like, I want the information to be right. And so it's like, I'll do the changes, but I also have others going on. And so it reaches a point to where if
Mhm.
I got to leave yours to prep another one, it's like,
Yep.
"Oh, I can't."
I can't
Once
change
I
it.
change
Yeah.
it, it's like I really can't go in and quickly make the change. I gotta rewrite the whole thing.
Mhm.
And the funny thing is, I have the calendar on my website now that has all the episodes. I forgot to copy the topics from the thumbnail to put on the calendar so it would match.
Oh
And
no.
I had started doing two, and I was like two thumbnails ahead, and I was like, I went and clicked, and I was like, and so I had the image open, and I hand typed on my calendar the thumbnail topics to the topics on the calendar so they would match.
Oh
And if
my
I capitalized in one spot and lowercased it in another, I was like, nope, we're capitalizing this, lowercasing this.
yep.
And I was like, and this is why I copy and paste them before I start the next one. This is
Mm-hmm.
my fault. This isn't anything on Tiffany, but yeah, it's one of those fun
You're like,
little
thanks, Tiffany.
work things that goes on that it's like, oh, there's just so many places to type
Mm,
things. And you actually are now officially on IMBD.
what?
Not listed out by name, but your picture is on there because I post all the episodes to a show page on there.
Oh, that's really cool.
So your thumbnail is now immortalized in the movie database.
Oh, wow. Well, those 7 or 8 changes were worth it, weren't they?
And the topics, as long as it fits within the criteria they're sizing, is listed
Mhm.
as the show synopsis that's new for this season. So yeah, if you're ever on IMBD, go and check it out, and feel free to give stars.
Will do.
Really cool to have people rating it besides me because I gave my shows 10 stars. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna downplay myself.
No, of course not. I'm gonna send all my friends there. Go
Aw,
rate it.
in a right way. Don't be like dissing on it.
Right.
Rate it the right way.
Let me find out.
8 stars or higher. Not just kidding. None of this 5-star crap. No, just,
Right. I'm gonna tell my daughters I'll buy you Starbucks for each 10 star.
hey, as long as it's you and not me, because I have over 300 episodes, so
Oh my.
yeah, I would not be wanting
Yeah.
that Starbucks bill. I'm like, that's on you. If you
Yeah.
want to go there, you go right on ahead because
Uh,
this is
my
season
girls are so
4.
cool, they'll just do it for free.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, Tiff, you are season 4, episode 49.
Nice.
So that's just this season, and so there's 4 of them. And I
Wow.
will say, in all fairness, first season was only 11 episodes, so you do have that in your favor
Okay.
of
Okay.
this show.
Yeah.
But there is another show, so
Yeah.
let's see. Let me see if I can see if it'll tell me how many actual episodes there are to the show. Let's see. Oh, wrong screen. Let me see real quick. What? What is going on? Ah, here we are. This Riding Through the Unknown. Currently, you are the 177th episode.
Yay. All right.
So, yeah, it's been 4 years. Started August 10th, 2023.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's 3 days before my birthday.
Well, I couldn't wait around for you forever.
Couldn't. I don't blame you. Dude, you know that's
Hmm.
crazy. You graduated high school in 96.
Yeah.
I graduated 6th grade in 96.
Oh, I was about to say, please
Yeah.
tell me you weren't born in '96. I
Oh
was
my
like,
god, no.
oh, like,
That'd be
yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
but yeah,
That's
that.
they had
So we
the
both
baggy pants,
graduated.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Super baggy pants.
Not as baggy as the '80s. I was around in the '80s, so
Did did you ever wear Jankos?
I have no idea what that is.
Baggy pants? They were like super baggy. Like baggy. I had a
So,
couple of pairs and now they're expensive because now they're hard to find and
so for
it's
those of
coming back.
you that are watching this and thinking, yeah, you didn't have baggy pants. We in the '80s had the MC Hammer parachute
Yes.
baggy pants.
Parachute pants. Yep. I would like shuffle sideways. Oh, 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 oh.
Yep.
Me and my brother had matching ones.
He would do it in blue and gold, I think, were the two
Yeah.
popular colors for his. But
Music
yeah.
video. Yep. New Kids on the Block. Depeche
Oh
Mode.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh oh oh. The
Oh,
right
oh,
stuff.
oh. Yeah, I love it.
I I had in the '80s a New Kids on the Block birthday party where my parents got on pay-per-view one of the concerts of New Kids on the Block.
Oh my god, you were the coolest. I had a New Kids on the Block pillowcase, and every night I'd be like, "Good night, cuties."
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, my cousin had the New Kids on the Block sandals. They were like girly sandals, but it had their picture in the middle. And I was like, "Those are cool." Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I want people's faces on my feet.
Right.
Like, yeah, no, that's all right. I'll pass on that one.
Yeah. I had the glittery jelly sandals. Remember those? Those
Yep,
are back.
I know.
Mhm.
Although I gotta say, I kind of still digging the Crocs. I haven't fully gotten out of the Croc phase yet.
I used to think Crocs were ridiculous. Oh, um, until I moved to the East Coast and then everybody was wearing them. And I was like, all right, let me get a pair. And then I couldn't stop wearing them. They're so comfortable. I even got the ones with the fuzz, like to make them like the wool inside to keep them warm during the winter. But now I moved on to my Birkenstocks for when I leave the house. But in the house, it's Crocs.
Yeah, I like the comfort of that, and I was collecting the Star Wars
For
Crocs when they were
you.
coming out. And
Yeah.
yes, I do have a pair of the chewy, furry ones, and
I love that.
they are a little weird though to wear because some of the hair, like I think, kind of like sticks to the sweaty foot, and so it
Oh
doesn't quite
no.
work in
When
the.
you lift your foot, it goes grrr.
But yeah, I did the Crocs thing, and it, is some of them were more comfortable, but others, but I would
Mhm.
wear them because of the design that was on them, and I even had a pair that were like galactic looking.
Oh yeah. Yes. They were like purple and blue
Yep.
galactic. Yeah. Yep. Mine are all black, and then I got some hot pink ones.
Yeah, and
Girly.
right, and somehow I got stuck on wearing the patriotic ones, and so I have them with
Yes.
the stars and the stripes, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I wear them around. I have them stationed to where if I go out one door, I wear this pair. If
Yep.
I go out a different door, I wear this pair, and my back door is a pair of Star Wars Crocs. So if I
Nice.
go in the back, I got those, and so yeah, but
That's really cool.
yeah,
Speaking of
but
backyard, I gotta send you a picture of my pumpkins.
you got your pumpkins out already?
Yeah, they have not they have not produced, but the vines have become insane since I bought this fertilizer from Home Depot. Like they have
Uh-huh.
doubled in size.
So
And
yeah, fun fact for you, just in case you weren't aware,
mhm.
cucumbers, pumpkins, and I think there was one other vegetable.
You said beans, right? Or
I don't know about beans, but I know cucumbers and pumpkins, if you put them in a pot, they will overflow and they will take over the entire backyard.
yep, I remember you said that because of your cucumbers. So we have a
Yeah.
raised bed. So if they make it,
Oh,
they make it. I
it,
don't know.
they will find themselves hanging over the edge. It's gonna drape down. They're
Yep,
not
they're
hanging
getting
out
there.
in a raised bed for long.
Yeah, they're getting there for sure. Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's getting. You gotta watch because they'll start growing like little pods that probably will turn into the pumpkins
Yeah.
in weird places, and it's like, ooh, I wonder, if like one is in midair, if it starts growing, if it gets to full weight, will it rip?
The vine?
No, not rip the vine, rip the raised bed container.
Oh, maybe because they are I did plant jumbo seeds too.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I'll keep you posted.
You got the jumbo pumpkins coming in. Oh,
Yeah,
that's gonna be
the seeds
great
were
to watch.
literally this big when I put them in. I was like, "Well, there we go."
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how much of your backyard is walkable.
Ooh, for real. Brett's gonna be so pissed.
That and what's gonna be funny is that they start growing up the fence and over into other people's yards.
Exactly, into the farm behind us and the neighbors' yards, yeah.
Be like, We're getting infested by these jumbo pumpkins. Where are they coming from?" Wow. Tiff's gonna
From
be there. I
Ohio,
have no idea.
couldn't tell you.
I'm like, I don't know. They came across our raised bed too, and they're spraying across from our house too. We don't know where they originated from.
Ah, that'd
Mm.
be fun. Good times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it is great talking to you, and I gotta call this one because it is getting close to midnight, and
Yes, sir.
got early morning tomorrow. Got stuff to wake up for, and yeah,
Yep. Same here. I'm I worked out at home today, but I gotta make it to the gym tomorrow, so
yeah. I'm not going to the gym until Wednesday,
oh yeah, that's right.
right
Wednesday.
before showtime. I'll be back.
Ooh, that's right.
So yeah, and I gotta figure. I think I'm supposed to be working arms too, and so that'll be interesting.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
But oh yeah, tomorrow's an early show for me, so yeah, I'll be able to chill at night.
Cool. I'll watch. I will watch. I know I was missing in action all last week, but that's because Brett was he had a week off, so family time.
Yeah,
I'm back.
well, cool. And so yeah, so stop by anytime, and I will try and stop by and check out when if you're ever live, what's going on, and chime in and be like, "Hey,"
Yeah.
and
I would love that.
you know, it'd be really funny to do with some of the people in the SSP community.
Huh.
Bring back from I don't. You might be too young to remember this, but when Scream came out, it was with the phone call, phones were
Lava.
coming out. Yeah, the what's that?
Lava.
Like, dude, like periodic
Ghostface. Yes.
people on the SSP and just film it and just be like people just randomly pop it up on on screen on a live and be like, "What's that?"
I would love that. We totally should coordinate.
But yeah, I tried to bring somebody on a live feed on YouTube and it didn't work for my channel, and so I don't know how to do it. And apparently like only certain people can bring my profile on to a Facebook live, so I don't know how it
Oh,
would work.
I don't know. I've never tried, and I only did my first premiere last 2 weeks ago, maybe. I don't know. But if I figure it out, I'll tell you.
Yeah, well, we'll have to figure that out, and
Yep.
it would be funny just to like just just get random people and just
Just
do
pop
it and
in, be
be
like,
like,
"Ah."
That's it. And then once they're like, they come in and they do it and then they pop off and it's like,
Yes.
that's it. Just a what's up,
That'd be so
SLP
cool.
style. And just see, who'd be like willing to like do it and be like, and how many people would be like, no. Like, it's
Well,
okay.
it would be fun. Count me in.
Yeah.
I think Wizard Witkus would be down.
Oh yeah.
I think he would.
Julia, we probably would have to explain it to her.
She'd be like,
You're wanting what? What are we doing?
you want me to say that? But I think
Or,
she would. What if she
yeah.
hosts?
Well, we could host it like a show, but we would have
But I do
to
want to hear her say it with her accent.
say the well, saying it, yeah, but we would also have to coordinate, bringing people up on screen, and
Mhm.
we're limited on how many people can be backstage at a time too. So we would have to figure out how to get a green room for that because depending on how many people wanted to partake
Mhm.
and figure out, are we just recording this just for, you know, some fun and we're just, popping in saying what's up and popping off and you're like, that's it, you're
Mhm.
done for the night.
We could do it for fun, but it would be nice to air it. I know Christy Campbell would be so down to
Oh yeah.
be like, yeah,
And Patty Paparazzi
yes,
might
Patty,
love it.
definitely. Sean, I can see Sean doing it.
I don't know. Sean's kind of getting into doing his thing with his digs and everything, and so I'm not so
Yeah,
sure he's really, into the programs anymore, but
that's okay. I still think
Drago might be
just
fun
for
to
the
have
oh,
try it.
Jago for sure. Yeah. I think Sean would do it because it would be like a fun team thing, you know?
Yeah. We'll have to, pull our resources and ask who we know and be like, hey, are you down?
Yeah.
And figure out a time we can do it and just be like, yeah.
Yep.
And it's just a video of just momentary fun.
Quick Poppins. Yeah. You know, I have to give major props to Julia because that woman is more dedicated than me per se into like streaming because she will wake up at 3 in the morning to do a live stream with us here in the US and carry on to go about it like business. But if you get me to try to wake up at 3 in the morning, you're not gonna get me. You're gonna get Patricia, who's mean and sleepy. I've told you I'm a sleepy girl, but I get mean. Even Brett knows, do not fucking wake me unless it's worth it,
Yeah.
because I am mean. Like, You too?
No, I'm like, you're talking about how much she streams, and I'm like, have you been you have been missing apparently my show for a while.
No, but I'm saying like because of the time difference, she has to wake up earlier, you know?
Well,
To
okay,
match our times.
she it's not necessarily always that. It's some of it too is because she's moderating so much stuff that's the time when nobody else is running so she can do her thing. Then she does her moderating and then does her thing
Mhm.
again and kind of goes back and forth and finds the slot for it.
Yeah, and she wakes up at 5 in the morning to live stream. I love catching them,
I I
but
have a show that I'm working with a guest, and if I was to do it live streaming, I would have to be up my time to be her evening would be 3, 4, or 5 a.m. in the morning.
the one in Greenwich?
No, this one, she is, I think, in Australia
Oof.
or Tasmania or New Zealand. I think she's
Oh
in that
my god.
region. And so it's
Yeah.
like 15 hours difference. So when she's like, "Yeah, I can do anytime after this hour," I'm like,
You're
"Yeah,
like
that's this hour for me."
you're like, "I am
I
sleeping."
I'm like, I'm not so sure I'm so good at that morning, and it has to be a weekday, and so finding a morning where I have time to like bounce back and
Yeah.
from it, it's like a little challenging right now, but I am determined to make it happen. So I am going to either pre-record or make a live show at an obscene hour in
Yeah.
my situation. So if nobody is awake and watching, I totally understand. But
I just might be on if I don't take my sleeping pill that night. I don't sleep
uh,
unless I'm on something.
yeah, I'm trying to decide if I want to do a pre-record and use it and as an episode, in case somebody cancels,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can bump it ahead of
Yep.
schedule or
Mhm.
give it a assigned time. But yeah, and
Take the evening off that day. Like, if something falls through,
I do
that
that actually. If I have a pre-recorded show airing, premiering live, I don't watch the show. I will be honest.
would
Even if it's me, being premiered, I don't always like to hop on and watch because I start to get nitpicky on myself. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll start to look at myself and go, oh my God, what was I thinking wearing that outfit? Or why did I say that comment? Or where did that come from? And so
Aw,
it's
don't beat
like,
yourself up. You're a good host.
oh, I'm talking about
Good.
more of that as being like the guest. It's like,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, yeah, I blubbered that one out and don't know why I went on that rambling tangent. Shouldn't have done that.
It's okay.
But
It'd be
yeah,
like, okay.
hosting, yeah, that's a different ballgame. I'm like, am I going to be awake enough to ask the questions and
Uh-huh.
bring the information in and be my jovial self, or am I going to be like, huh? What? What are we talking about again?
What was yeah. What's the subject?
I'm like, yeah, I'm hopeful that it'll work, and if it's meant to be, it'll work, and if not, it's just a matter of because of the time zone, it just
Mhm.
isn't possible. But uh, I tend to, as a host, go the extra mile to make it happen. So Yeah, just know at some point, yeah, if you ever see, it'll probably most likely be pre-recorded, and you'll know it's pre-recorded because it'll say pre-recorded.
Hmm.
But also the fact of I'm not there.
Yeah.
Probably sleeping from getting up so early to do it,
Uh-huh.
but I will show up and I will be my normal host self. I always manage to pull it off, and so when the divine time hits, it'll hit.
You got this.
Yep. And before we hit 3 hours, I am going to say we seriously need to call it a night because
Yep.
we both have things to do and we
Yes,
have.
I do. I need to be fully functional in the morning. So do you.
I just need to be functional. I don't need to be fully anything.
There you go.
That can come later.
But I hope you have a good night. Thank you for having me on.
Yes,
You're
and
awesome, as
we'll have
always.
to get you back on again for some future episodes too.
Yes, sir. All right.
And with that, I am going to say from my heart and the heart of my shows to you, thank you for what you're doing for humanity. It's seen, felt, heard, appreciated, and not only that, but thank you for your service in both factors. And with that, I'm going to say good night.
Good night. Thank you for everything. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye. Thank you for your service too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We can't fully function without you. You make a difference.
Well, we could. It would just be a little more awkward, but yeah, I'll take it.
Oops. Who's gonna get us out of a firefight when shit hits the fan and we're cornered? You know?
Yeah. I'm good for those moments.
Yeah. All
Pop it in
right.
and be like, hi, remember me?
That's right.
Or, yeah, you didn't know I knew these people, huh? Search your
Mm-hmm.
scanners, see what you pull up about me. Yep, yep. Let's see the tears and let's see the horror. Yep, yep. Get your data pads out.
And now you die.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All
We got
right.
a minute and 30 seconds.
Oh, I haven't even played the outro yet.
Oh, all right. Good night.
So, good night, everyone.
Good
And
night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
yep, and we will see you for the episodes tomorrow at 4 o'clock Central Time and 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday. So, stay tuned and just keep following along so you don't miss a thing. Good night, everyone.